good day, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Unscripted Table Talk. We're now at episode number 6. And today we have Neddy Nyce.
So hold on a second. You had 6 episodes or 5 episodes before I got invited to be on this?
No. We always want to perfect their art before we bring on the artist, right?
Fair enough.
So we're at episode number 6 today. So Neddy has decided to join us to bring us his expertise in radio broadcasting and things. So today we'll be talking about finance and saving. And people, if this is what you'd like to see, we will have an interesting discussion today. You can reach us, send us a message, give us a call. Number to call is 416-902-3860. Send us a WhatsApp message or a text, whatever you feel like, or even a voice note. We can play it live on air. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce Neddy. Neddy, say something, tell people who you are.
Yes, this is Neddy, Too Nyce Photography. Basically, I used to be on 105.5 when it was CHRY for 20 years, CHRY 105.5, and basically, I do my thing. I work with Barry doing the photography stuff and do other stuff as well, some sports stuff, working with kids, and
So Neddy's well versed in a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah.
And today we're going to impart some knowledge and some insights on this very interesting topic. So that's what. So today we're going to be talking about finances and savings. And a lot of people every year in the city of Toronto or wherever you might live, the cost of living goes up. Salary, unfortunately, doesn't do the same climb. Depends on where you work and a bunch of different factors. And I see from experience that a lot of kids these days, they end up in debt from OSAP, trying to go to school and whatnot. And there are a few things, a lot of people are not aware of it. I think I should put it out there for people to, act upon if they can. And so, what we're going to do, so on the slide today, PostSecondary Education. So I did some research today. I'm going to leave all these links in the description as well as the slide, so folks can review it after. And the average cost per year for post-secondary in education is around $19,000 to $22,000.
Right.
Without your parents planning for your child's future, you're looking at debt if you want to get an education going forward. So the average duration of university is around 3 years.
Right.
So you're looking at that number multiplied by 3. That's around $60,000, not including living expenses and whatnot. And whatnot, And most students have to turn to WhatsApp.
Which is what I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it took you 10 years.
Longer.
A lot, very long time,
It's actually still not paid off for it. Oh, who said that?
It takes a very long time for you to pay off this thing, and you'll be well into adulthood and still paying this thing off.
Yeah.
And now the government has removed the grace period from when you leave school to the time of repayment. So that 6 months gap of you leaving school to when you start paying your stuff is no longer there. So what are you going to do when you come out of school?
It's actually a huge problem. And I was discussing this with some of my other colleagues before as well. Some people, they actually, go to school and they're going for jobs that basically aren't even in demand now. So not only do you have all this money to pay back, you also are not employed. So going to university and stuff like that doesn't guarantee that you're gonna
get a job in your field.
It does help prepare you, right, mentally and everything like that. So I agree with it in terms of preparing people for the future.
Right.
But then it's a problem because you can see these numbers here, and people get stuck.
That's what I'm saying. So, for example, if you take WhatsApp, $70,000.
Yeah.
That should take you through school, as long as you pass everything and everything.
Mm-hmm.
When you come out of school, your repayment right away is $809 a month.
$809 a month.
Per month. Right off the bat.
Yeah.
So as soon as they hand you a certificate,
yeah,
the next month you're supposed to be start paying this money.
Yeah.
So when you do the calculation at 3.5% interest, because that's the standard interest rate for WhatsApp right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you borrow $70,000 and you end up paying $92,000.
Right.
So interest over the 3 year works out to be at $22,000 interest.
Right.
So most people don't know this. They think, okay, when your kid grow up, we can do, they can do WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm.
So right there, 10 years of that kid life is focused on paying, for his education, his continued education.
Right.
And there are certain measures that can be put into place as parents when your kid is born, RESPs, different things to help, cover the costs, subsidize the cost of this,
Mm-hmm.
So RESP, Registered Education Savings Plan. Basically it's a contract between the parents, whoever's in charge of the kid,
mm-hmm.
and a firm representing the government. It's called Education Assistance Program.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you put money aside every month. You sign a contract, you put money aside,
mm-hmm.
and at the end of the maturity date, if you start from a kid born, it's like 18.
Yeah.
Let's say you put $50 a month. I did the calculation. So $50 a month times 12 months, so that's $600 per year. That works out to be, by the time the kid turns 18, $10,800.
Mm-hmm.
That's being matched by the government. So you would end up to be $21,600. That figure might be less because there's administrative fees for them to do that. So let's say $21,000.
Yeah.
I put in aside $50 per month until your kids turn 18. That would only cover 1 year at university.
Right.
So right there and then, if poor people,
mm-hmm.
If you make that sacrifice, commitment per month, you can help in your kids' future
mm-hmm.
and whatnot. But if you want your kid to be completely debt free, you multiply that figure times 3. Not everyone can do that.
Yeah.
It's $150 per month.
Yeah.
You got unforeseen expenses and other things and whatnot.
Yeah.
But there are certain little things you can do,
mm-hmm.
growing up, when your kids are growing to help them,
yeah.
in the future. A lot of people, they don't know that.
Yeah.
So I took it, upon myself to put this together.
Okay.
And these figures, they're pretty standard.
Yeah.
I think the average person could manage $50 per month.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, if everything goes right,
Depending on their, of course, their financial situation and stuff like that.
Sure.
If they are living to the wire, like,
mm-hmm.
paycheck to paycheck,
yeah,
might not be so easy, but I think the average person, and the funny thing is, $50 a month, if you actually, people look at their spending, their day-to-day spending and stuff like that, it's funny because, just going to Starbucks or, grabbing a coffee and stuff like that here and there from Tim Hortons and, the money that people are spending out that they say that they need
mm-hmm.
to spend.
Right.
If they just, reevaluate those little purchases here and there day to day,
okay,
they can come up with the $50 a month.
I think that's pretty reasonable. In this neighborhood, a lot of people, females, to do their hair, their nails.
Yeah.
Those are quite pretty expensive, and you have to do them every month.
Yeah.
Maybe do your hair and do your nails yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that could save $50. I'm not telling you, a lot of people probably up in arms about this. Oh, you don't do my nails or whatnot, but
Shout out to Yao.
Yeah. See that comment?
Messages. Yes, Yao. He said we can't see the screen there, so I'm not sure if it's.
Oh, it's on there. Yeah, seeing that second person said that. Okay, we'll just work with it for right now.
Yeah. You can post it later on.
I can post it later on. It will be posted later on the link under the video, so you'll get to see the slides. So basically, we're just discussing different figures and how you can help, your child's future.
Yeah.
And whatnot. But there are a lot of things that we can do as parents to help the kids. A statistic is a barbershop statistic, so.
Yeah. You go to the barber?
I take my son to the barber.
Do you go to the barber yourself?
I sometimes to get this lined up, lined up, I do go to the barber myself, but I take my son all the time, so.
Yeah.
Barbershop statistics saying that, I touched on this briefly in the past. We as parents are responsible for our child's future.
Right.
If you know that you cannot maintain children, don't go have 5, 6, 7, 8. Because this becomes unrealistic, what we're trying to say right now.
Yeah.
And people end up in a system and whatnot, and this is totally thrown out the window. So if you can't afford that many kids, please,
have some protection.
Yes, use the $50 a month and buy protection. And this is a problem, especially amongst the black community. When you look at lawyers, doctors, people with genuinely higher class of income, they're the ones who can afford the kids based on their salary, based on their income. You don't see them having 5, 6, 7, 8 kids.
Right.
Right. And whatnot. And chances are, from what I know, because I have a lot of friends, in those professions, they save so that their kids don't have to pay house up. Not everyone can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to expand on that.
Right.
I believe that there's also generational wealth as well.
True.
So, for example, when I was growing up in my area, there's lots of different nationalities. They all are, kind of melted together in the one area, the city of Vaughan.
Yeah.
So, growing up, basically, I got to see the different cultures, the Jewish people, the Italians, the Indians and stuff like that. And a lot of them, there's generations of money in their family, right? So not only are they putting away money for their school and stuff like that, they have decided to give the kids a head start. Some of them, when they turn 16, 17, they got a car. Their parents will buy them a car.
Right.
So
that's a less that's an expense you don't have to incur.
Right.
Good. Okay.
Their school's paid for.
Right.
And also, when they get married, right, they're not paying for their wedding.
No.
Them themselves.
Right.
The parents on both sides are paying for the wedding.
Yeah.
And also possibly giving them a house or giving them a good amount of money to start off as a down payment. So that head start in life, right, for those kids growing up and getting married and going forward, now when they have kids, there's an excess of money that they can do the same and pass on to their kids and say, you know what, my parents did this for me, so now I'm going to do this for you. And it just continues. So
what's stopping us as a black people from doing the same?
Greed. Greed, I think, is one of the main things. Yeah. If you're just talking about the African American community in general, I believe there's a lot of different issues there in terms of showmanship. Yeah. In terms of showing what we have, buying expensive stuff that aren't going to make money in the long run, expensive vehicles, rims on vehicles, expensive clothing, going to different restaurants to kind of throw away our money. Okay. Right? I have a 70-30 rule that I keep for myself. Okay.
So the 30% is what I use to spend if I want to be lavish.
Okay.
The 70% of my spendings, I look at it and I say, is this going to make me money?
Yeah.
If it's not going to make me money, then I don't spend it.
Okay.
Because all my purchases that I try to do somehow has to equate to making me some sort of money. And I allot 70% of my income, my spending towards that.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes. One of my personal rules is that I don't buy anything unless I can buy it twice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if I have to struggle to buy it, chances are I won't buy it.
Right.
And you have to adjust yourself. Like when you have kids, you have to adjust yourself in a certain way because it's no longer about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're raising a new generation. Do you want your generation to grow up with debt and extra expenses that they really and truly shouldn't have incurred because of our personal selfishness?
Yeah.
And this is the thing I'm trying to get people to look at, to reevaluate themselves, to see what they can do for their future generation.
Right.
Right. And it's something that little things.
Yeah.
Well, generational wealth don't just get generated overnight. It's something that we have to work on. We do our part. Hopefully our kids see that what we do and they do their part for their kids.
Right.
This is how, it may happen like say 3 or 4 generations down the road. You want your family to become fully financially independent. Yeah. This is the way to start.
Right.
And I'm going to move on.
Another thing I try to mentor some of my, you can move on.
Yeah.
The youth that I mentor, some of them are like 17, 18. Some of them are going to university and college now.
Yeah.
And the first thing that happens to them when they, step foot onto the college or university is all these credit card companies are giving away credit cards.
They're right there on campus. First week, first day you step in, they're ready
saying
to
you
hit.
need a credit card, to spend and whatever else and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And at that age, right, that's when a lot of people make their first mistakes.
Right.
Ruin their credit, and then the rest is history. You know how it goes from there.
Is not to buy alcohol, right?
And the thing about it is, most credit cards are 20% that you have to pay back.
Yeah, 19.99. Yeah, 20%.
19% or whatever.
25 or however it is, depending on which one you get.
So people are spending on these credit cards, not realizing that the more you spend, the more you have to pay back with the percentage and stuff.
And the thing is, you're spending money that you're not making because you're going to school.
Right.
Unless you get a job in school, there's no way you're paying back that money.
Yeah.
On equal terms, how it's supposed to be paid.
Right.
And we as parents need to instill that in our kids.
Yeah.
Responsiveness of responsibility. We can't do everything for them, but we can show them the way.
Right.
Another thing is that a lot of people, they don't have proper savings. This, what I have up here, hopefully everyone can see it on the screen, is a way that people can save automatically. You have to really and truly have a steady flow of income to do this.
Right.
If you want to save $5,000 a year, there's an easy way. You just set up in your bank account that it automatically transfers $95.15 per week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It does that amount. You don't have to do it. You just set it up to transfer this amount to like a savings account or something.
Yeah.
And at the end of the year, you have $5,000.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
You see, and that's something. If you're not versed in saving, if every week it becomes a task for you to go and log into your account, go to the bank and tell them transfer this money, it will never happen. But if you set up this automatically, but you must have a steady flow of income because you can't save what you don't have.
Right. Right.
So if you have a steady flow of income this is an easy way. Let's say you're saving for your kids' future. Let's say you want to go on a vacation or something. This is a way that you can use your money to treat yourself.
Yeah.
To whatever you want. Easy method.
Yeah.
You want to save 10,000? You just double it.
Right.
You know.
Is that a tax-free savings account?
That's the thing right now. You're allowed up to 5,000 tax-free.
Oh, okay.
Right after that, then your 10,000 becomes, taxable.
Oh, okay.
But you do get to claim that money back in taxes. So,
okay.
You won't get all back, but it's something that you can work on. 5,000 is pretty safe that you can put aside.
Yeah.
Other than that, you have to open like RESP or something, some account that
and save it.
You save it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the average salary these days, does it allow for people to save like that? Let's say someone making $15 an hour.
Right.
That is the bare minimum standard. You're employed legally.
Yeah.
That's the minimum you can make. $14 an hour. That's what it is right now. Yeah.
That's the minimum wage.
That's the minimum wage. And does this allow you to do this? I wouldn't think so, based on your expenses, everything to lifestyle.
Yeah.
So then you gotta start looking at what you need to do extra. And this is a lot of things. A lot of people are comfortable, and you can't live life. If you live life comfortable, you have to be rich.
Right.
You don't get rich by being comfortable.
Right.
You have to make yourself uncomfortable to be comfortable.
Right.
A lot of people don't get that.
Yeah.
A lot of things that we do to, let's say, entertain ourselves. The partying, the alcohol, the smoking, all of these are habits. These are very expensive habits.
Right.
Imagine what you can do if you adjust your lifestyle for something greater in the future. You see, the thing with us, we think no.
Right
now. Yeah. Everything has to happen. Everything has to be gratified right now. The day we start moving away from that thinking, it will become, what you talk about, we're able to do generational wealth.
Right.
Right. And what we try to do every week, give people stuff they can act on. A little bit some information like this.
Do you have a will set up?
Me personally,
I'm putting you on the spot. Sorry, Barry.
I personally don't have a will set up, but whoever is around me, they're free to take. So right there and then, if you own property, that's something. Or if you own any sort of something that you want to leave, not to the government, right? That's something, I think, especially if you have like a big family. Yeah, that's something you pretty much need. I don't think it costs much to get a will set up. No, it doesn't.
Not sure exactly the full cost, but I was speaking to a lawyer before to set one up, so I'm gonna be going through that. And setting that up, because I know, like, with the government, there's a death tax.
Yes, there's a death tax. Yes, and you're not responsible for it. People who you leave in charge of your estate.
In charge of your estate.
I found out the other day. I'm like, wow.
Right. Yeah. So even when you're gone and pass away, you're leaving debt with people and stuff like that. So you want to make sure that your estate is well taken care of. And if you have property, you own a house or whatever, and I heard this, I'm not sure if it's exactly true or not, but if you haven't willed it or, have your insurance to people, to whoever you want, the government can come in and take part of your home.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I understand.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. So even if you just put in your will, 25% to go to this person, 25% to this person, 50% to go to this person and whatnot, then it's protected.
Okay.
But if it's not, in a will or any documentation. Yeah. I'm gonna research that to make sure, and I'll
we can bring this up in a future topic. And what happens after you die? What expenses does you or your estate?
And also it's tough to talk about death. I lost my mom 2013 and stuff like that, and she had a little bit of a insurance plan with her workplace, so that got divvied up with us, right? So I want to make sure that people know,
that's something that you should do. At least have some sort of life insurance.
Some sort of life insurance, and make sure that you have something set up for when you die, that your burial expenses and all of that part of it is taken care of.
That in this country can get pretty expensive. I've heard people talk about it. It's no joke.
Yeah. No joke.
And if you look at things these days, we have different ailments. People don't have natural causes anymore.
Yeah.
Today, tomorrow, you hear you're gone.
Yeah. And people are dying even earlier in life. Some people 35, 40. I had a friend die at 42 the other day. Yeah. So it's like you never know when your time is coming.
True. Yeah. And you could be in healthy shape and go down the road and catch a stray bullet from one of these young kids who are shooting up the place.
Yeah. Or you can get into a car accident. Anything something can happen.
Yeah, like I said, when you leave your house these days, best to say goodbye, because you never know. You never know if you're gonna make it back. And that is something that we should take into consideration. Life insurance, I don't think is that expensive. A minimum life insurance, $100,000 or something, shouldn't realistically cost more than $20 a month.
Yeah,
$20 a month. I'm pretty sure everyone can afford $20 a month. That's something. At least if you're not in a position to put these things in place we're talking about, at least put a life insurance in place, especially if you have kids. Yeah.
They even have like a term insurance that is over like a certain period of time. Right. You can say for
30 years.
30 years, 20 years, 40 years. If anything happens to you in this time. Yeah. Right. And if not, then you can roll it into another
plan. For another 10 years or something.
Yeah. And the rates are a little bit different, between term and a long-term plan. But.
And someone told me when you buy insurance, make sure it says whole life. Yeah. Because certain things are not covered. Yeah. In regular life insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
my mom always, God rest her soul, but my mom always was very superstitious about insurance plans. So she said that the first day that if she ever puts a plan on, that's when people are gonna plot to kill her. So, so I was like, Mom, I don't think it's like that. But she had her superstitions on that,
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't think it's gonna be like that, but
okay. Folks, just hold on 1 second. We just gotta switch these cameras up. They have a 30-minute time limit. I'm just gonna switch them.
Oh, okay. Is my voice still?
Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. So I just want to remind people, a couple of things that we were just recapping. Talk about. Try to, take charge of your finances. Make sure you're doing your due diligence and having your finances in order. Your expenses. It's hard to not incur expenses, but some stuff you can probably avoid. Like, people laugh at me when I tell them I cut up my credit cards. And they say, why did you cut up your credit cards? And I said, I cut up my credit cards because if I don't have the money to spend on it right now, I don't want to have to borrow the money off the credit card, because essentially you're borrowing the money. I don't want to have to borrow the money and then have to pay back the interest on something that I bought. So the credit cards give you a false sense of having money, because people will go out and they'll see the credit card, whatever the limit is, 5,000. So they'll be like, oh, I can get this TV, I can get this, I can spend on this, spend on that. Meanwhile, not paying attention to the interest rate that happens afterwards. My advice, cut up your credit cards. Or if you're very good with your credit cards, just leave it there as emergencies. An emergency is not going to Burger King because you're hungry, I ran into the problem when I was in in college.
Yeah.
And I was using it for gas. And that was my thing to myself. I say, well, it's an emergency. If I don't have the gas, I can't get anywhere, right?
Yeah.
But
the
money wasn't going back.
Yeah.
So what I should have done is park my vehicle and just taken the bus if I didn't have money for gas. But instead, I'm spending the money on the gas for the vehicle to get me to school and back, and the odd party here and there. And obviously, that money's not coming back.
But did you need a vehicle for school, though?
I didn't need a vehicle for school.
Okay, that's the thing, too.
It took a while. It took about 2 hours to get to school when I was going by bus.
Yeah.
So the car was a convenience.
Okay.
But it's a convenience at the time that I felt that I needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which brings me, I have a very interesting slide.
Okay.
And emergency fund.
Yes.
How many people do you know that have an emergency fund?
I had one.
Yeah. Okay.
But I had the emergency. And
and you had to use it.
Yeah.
So right now your focus is set on building it back, right?
I have to build back. I have to build back everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And basically emergency fund, a basic emergency fund should be set up that can carry you for a minimum of 3 months of living expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Living expenses do not include things like buying alcohol. That's not a living expense.
Right.
Things that are necessary. I'm talking about basic putting food on the table so I won't die because I have to eat, and bills got to be paid expenses.
Yeah.
And what is an emergency? There's 3 questions that I put up there that you have to answer before you consider something as an emergency.
Okay.
Is it unexpected? Is it necessary? And is it urgent? If you answer yes to all these 3 questions, then you can consider it as an emergency.
Mm-hmm.
Those might be.
I'm just trying to see if people can twist this around.
Yeah, is it unexpected? We have stuff that unexpected. Let's say you're living in a house and your furnace break. It's winter.
Yeah.
You need heat. That's unexpected. Is it necessary? Maybe. Is it urgent? Depends. If you have like a baby in the house or something, then it might be urgent.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, if your furnace went out and you don't have the money to put it back right away,
yeah,
you can buy like a little space heater, for a couple of rooms or something. Heat a couple of rooms.
Yeah.
Until you have that money.
Okay, I'm gonna play the devil's advocate.
Right.
Suppose I just lost my job this morning.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
Unexpected, right?
Right.
So now I'm feeling very down.
Mm-hmm.
I need alcohol.
Okay.
It's urgent. Right now?
Yeah.
Is it necessary?
No.
Yes. Because of my mood?
Yeah.
I need this alcohol.
But then again, you can speak to a friend, Drink somebody else's alcohol. Come by me, man.
Or I can speak to the bottle.
Yeah. So I people may different, but if you consider drinking alcohol an emergency, then you're probably in the 90% that doesn't have an emergency fund. That it brings you back to some sort of financial stability or instability in this case, when you choose something that is not necessary and term it as an emergency.
Yeah.
We gotta weigh out our needs and wants. And people have a hard time doing that. Not everyone can save money.
Right.
People have different ways of saving. They have this thing called that we all in a group.
Oh, partnership.
Yes.
And
they call it susu. They call it different things in different where you come from.
Yeah.
That's like a interest-free bank account. But then again, you got to trust somebody.
Yeah.
I've heard many stories where those things have gone bad. And whatnot. If you have a hard time saving, try that. Put something aside. Like your 70-30 rule. You put something aside. You may lose a job, something may come up. you may have to use some money.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, your rent needs to be paid because you need somewhere to live.
Mm-hmm.
That's an emergency. You don't have a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
But while you are working, you know, is EI a factor? And when you're working, could you tap into that resource while you don't have a job? Is that, you know, rather than going to emergency fund, what else can I do? You know,
right?
You know, to not touch that. This is something that you shouldn't absolutely touch. You know, try your best not to touch this.
It's hard to say that because our eyes, as soon as you see money, you see an account growing and stuff like that. Yeah, it's like, you know, candy. Yeah, it's hard to say, oh, you know what? Let me not touch this. Right. Stop
looking at your bank account.
I'm sure it happens to all of us.
Hide money from yourself. You know, put it in a sock or put it away or something so you don't find it. You know.
Yes.
You know,
because emergencies happen, like, you know, a lot of times for different people. Yeah. You know.
I have an aunt. I'm pretty sure she's listening. One day, she gave me she had a stack of books, and I was gonna do something, so took up one of the book and whatnot, and she chased me. I couldn't find out why she was chasing me for this book. The book had money inside. That was her way of saving. So you see, you could do something. You say if you have money in your house, it's best to put it in books because thieves are not gonna break in and steal books. You know, so that might be something. You know, because they say black people don't read. So, you know, if you know, it has to come down to this, that you have to hide money from yourself in order to save. Yeah, do it. Right. What's the worst can happen? You save money. You know, you don't spend it.
Or if you have a trusted person, you can.
Yeah, you can give it to or something. But if, you know, as convenient as banking is, it's very inconvenient because that's the easiest way to access money.
But there was one time, you know, years ago when I was dating somebody. Yeah. We did a joint account. Yeah. And what it was is that, sorry, not joint. It was joint, but it was my money that I was putting in to save. Right. The only way to withdraw the money
is for both signatures too.
Yeah. Okay. So both people had to.
So that was before the use of these tap to go and
whatnot. Yeah. Yeah. But even you can have accounts that don't tap. Right. Like you can have it that you don't have a bank card. Right. So it has to be a real emergency
for two people to come together and go in there and withdraw money. That's just pretty good. Yeah. The inconvenience of that alone could make you rethink what you're about to spend it on.
Right. So if I did, like, let's say, you know, me and you were in business or whatever, I can say, you know what, Barry, let's just do a joint account. Yeah. It's still my money, but it needs both of our signatures on it to withdraw. So you can't go in there and withdraw the money by yourself. True. Right? Yeah. And if I want to withdraw the money, I have to come to you and say, Barry, I need some alcohol. Yeah. And you're going to say, no. Of course. Right?
You know, just like the same account, if you have a checking account the same way, in order for me to write a check with someone, I need both signatures on there. Yeah. Yeah. One to sign, one to verify. Oh, right. Yeah. Right. Before you can actually spend that money. Right. Pay something by a check. Yeah. So measures like that, if you're that's good. If you're a person who might be prone to spending, put measures in place to deter you from stuff like that. Yeah. You know, I want to go back one slide, and I touched on this briefly last week, and people sent me comments and they helped me add to the list. Yeah.
Chores, tasks, jobs for children.
For children.
Okay.
A teenager. They have their own little expensive. They have their cell phone. They want to buy a shoe. They want to do something. Right. You as a parent, you're already struggling to make ends meet. Right. And you know, these kids, they have needs. They have stuff that they need. In order to ease the strain off the parents who's basically paying for everything. These are some of the things some of the options that are available for a child, teenager,
right,
to make their own set of money.
But you know what the problem is, and this could be a whole other topic. The electronics.
Yes.
Right here, these things.
Yeah.
These are keeping our kids.
Yeah.
I don't want to say docile, but they're
so they don't go out and play. They don't go outside.
They're unmotivated.
Yeah.
Right. When I can't remember if I was 11 or 12.
Yeah.
I had a paper route.
I had stuff that I used to do. Like I always had technology.
Yeah.
But I was a hustler.
Yes.
I used to buy my own, to work my little jobs and buy my own thing, right?
Yeah. I did paper routes.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Is paper routes still a thing now?
Well, I don't know if the paper routes are around anymore.
Because I put that down. I wasn't sure that a paper route was still. I know flyers.
Yeah, but not sure if they do the door-to-door delivery of the papers anymore.
Because I think that might be handed off to the postal service.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want that.
And I think some of them just do their stuff online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like for sure, snow removal and stuff. I used to go around door to door with my shovel.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember how much I was charging. It was like $10 a driveway.
See?
At the time. And that took me a while to shovel it.
But then you appreciate the money that you have and what you bought with it, right?
Of course.
Exactly.
Of course.
So where did we lose this?
Yeah,
as parents,
it's the hustle is not there.
Yeah,
the kids aren't going outside. They're not gonna go and shovel snow for somebody for money, right? Okay. They're not gonna go to find a side hustle to do newspapers or whatever.
Yeah,
they're not gonna. They're not motivated to do anything outside of staying on their Instagram, their Snapchat.
Yeah.
I think it's what's the age the group called now? The millennials? Is this what's going on now?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, they're I think that they're feeling more privileged, that they don't have to do certain things now. So it's kind of like that hustling generation is gone.
But in this, on the same thing, you're still living on your parents' house. You still live on your parents' rules. Do the parents still enforce these that you need to go out and do something? Wash the car, do the dishes.
No. It's not being enforced.
Yeah,
it's almost like a comfort thing. Yeah. As long as the child is occupying themselves, whether they're in their iPad, they're on the laptop, they're on their phone, they're out of my sight. Yeah, I don't have to worry about them. So they leave them there to play their Xbox, their PlayStation. It's like their own. Well, not babysitters because they're teenagers and stuff like that. Right. But it's just to keep them out of their hair. Yeah. Right. So a lot of parents are busy doing this and that and this and that. So they don't have time to concentrate on their children and let their children learn from them and kind of get like a hustling mentality. It's like you go do your iPod, whatever, and I'm gonna sit here and do my work. Right.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense, and I'm a little guilty of that too. But when it comes time to put that hustle in, he's still young right now. When it comes time to put that hustle, I will enforce that hustle. Because I am a product of that hustle myself.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and doing that hustling thing makes me able to do this today.
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of the same hustle I was trying to do with my daughter before as well. I'm like, listen, you want to go to Tim Hortons or whatever, you gotta learn to earn it. She used to come in there to my place and say, Dad, I want hot chocolate and a donut, and I was like, you didn't do anything. What do you want it for? Like, I'm not saying you can't have these pleasures and stuff like that, but you need to earn it. Yeah. Because I'm spending my own money to buy you stuff, right? Yeah. And you don't want to spoil them, right? But you're using your own money to do stuff, to spend.
So right now we have a call on the line. I was going to make a contribution. Are you hearing us?
Yeah.
All right.
Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I want to make a little contribution. In terms of savings, I strongly believe that if you're going to go about saving, try to save, that you shouldn't have your check-ins and savings under the same umbrella. You should have your savings under like a credit union that's not so accessible, so you won't want to go there to like take out money all the time.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, credit card could be a good thing, if you know how to use it properly. Like first of all, you need to know when the balance is the due date is due for payment. That's one thing you need to know.
Right.
If you don't know that, you're going on a wrong road. Because for instance, if the due date is going to be like the 8th of every month, and you already have like say $2,000 outstanding, and you see something that you want, and what's the date today? The 4th or whatever. Yeah. You can wait 4 more days before you make that purchase. So it goes up on the next bill.
Okay, so you won't pay interest for that $2,000 plus that whatever else you want.
Yes.
You'll only pay interest that for that month and that $2,000.
For that month, yes.
Okay.
And you understand that that's that. And I believe that if you're a working person, the first thing you should try to do is to secure a line of credit.
Okay.
At a low interest rate.
And this line of credit, I have a reservation against a line of credit. Yes, it can be good, but it exposes you. If you can't pay off your bills, you shouldn't be looking at the line of credit, or whatnot, because it teases you. Every time you go into your account, you see that extra figure there that you have access to. I know for an emergency, it makes sense. You can do something with it, but I would advise to keep things at a minimum, that if something goes really, really bad in your life, that you be able to be comfortable still and live a life rather than having these exorbitant interest rates and a bunch of other stuff. What I'm saying, I'm talking about like a line of credit that's like maybe like 5% or whatever. So just in case, for instance, if the credit card bill is due, you can take that money, put it on the credit card, and then pay the smaller interest rate. You understand? Okay. So stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. For things like that. Okay.
The emergency or whatever, Yeah. So a lot of people doesn't have that backup, so that's why they fall into the trap of paying like 90% every month for credit cards, and that's why they end up in this problem.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I just want to say that.
Okay, well, thank you for your contribution. Really appreciate it. I know you're watching, you're listening right now. You can share it with your link with your friends, and you can have them call in as well. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay.
I think we should let them know the number to call in.
Yeah, the number to call in is 416-902-3860.
902-3860. Okay.
Yeah.
And the thing about the credit cards again.
Yeah.
The way that I was trying to teach one of my the youth that I was mentoring.
Yeah.
If you know that you're going to have enough money to pay it off.
Yeah.
Within that month.
Yeah.
Then go ahead.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to buy a pair of socks and you get paid in the middle of the month.
Yeah.
And then you can pay off that pair of socks.
Yeah.
Then you build your credit.
Well, that's true. And an easy way you can build your credit is that you've been on a Zerta for a while now, as an adult, you should know your basic monthly running expenses.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to spend for gas and what you're going to spend for food and whatnot. You have a job.
Mm-hmm.
Put that money on your credit card and use your credit card as a debit card.
Mm-hmm.
One, if you have 2 types of credit card, either you gain points or you gain cash back.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a cash back at the end of the year, you have an extra money to spend because you keep putting money on the card. So it comes like you never use the card to do, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to spend $2,000 this month as your everyday running expenses.
Yeah.
Put $2,000 on the credit card ahead of time.
Right.
That way, when you spend it, you're spending actually your money.
Yeah.
But you're still gaining points and whatnot because you use that card.
Right. Right.
Banks don't like that.
Yeah.
But that's something you can do. At the end of the year, if you spend enough,
mm-hmm.
you can get a trip, you can build points, you can get a trip or something. Then there's a lot of incentive these days from different companies offering like more points, whatnot. Not gonna call any names because they're not sponsored, but
they're not sponsored.
Yeah, they're sponsored. But there's a lot of things. There's a lot of check out who gives you the most cash back. Usually the highest cash back I've seen is 2%. I don't think they do more than that. Or whatever card gives you enough points. There's some introductory cards that start you off with 40,000 points.
Oh, okay.
That's enough for a flight to go somewhere in Canada and back.
Yeah.
You use that card as a debit card, 60,000 points. That's enough for a first class flight to Barbados and back.
Oh, okay.
St. Vincent or whatever you want to go somewhere in the Caribbean. I'm not sure how much it is to go to other places in the East and whatnot, but that's something you can research.
Right.
So if you use your credit card that way, you build your credit, and stuff comes easy in the future. Let's say you get to a point right now that you're comfortable and you want to make an investment. Having good credit is one way to walk into a bank and say, listen, this is my business plan, this is what I want. You look at your credit to see, well, okay, this person has been on time doing what they're supposed to do. And these are some things. Sometimes we gotta take risks.
Yeah.
Especially in business. And building credit is really important.
Yeah, and people don't realize that, everything gets reported to your credit. It's not just your credit card.
Yeah.
It's your cell phone bills. Yep. Any sort of bills that you have.
Yeah.
They report to the credit bureau.
Something is in your name that you have a service, they report to the credit bureau.
Right.
If you've never pulled your credit report, I suggest that you do that.
Yeah.
Every 6 months just to make sure you're still safe.
Right. And also, don't forget there's not just one credit bureau.
Yeah.
There's two.
Yes, Equifax and TransUnion.
TransUnion and Equifax, yeah. Some companies only use one. Yeah. Right? And some companies use the other one. Yeah. So both of them should, should
be aligned.
Should be aligned. Yeah, try to get them clean. And also, a good thing to do is once you do pull your credit report, investigate and see, some stuff that might be on there from like a long time ago that is possibly paid off or whatever, but it's still on there. Yeah. Contact them and find out why is it still on here.
On your report.
Right. Because I had to do that before. I'm like, this was from, 1990 something. Yeah. Right. I'm like, and this was paid off. Like,
and that's still on there.
Yeah, it's still on there.
It's probably affecting your credit since then.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So it's good to check your credit report and whatnot. Getting back to this. Mm-hmm. So we're in winter right now because we live in Canada. Snow removal. Winter's gonna be done just now, and people are gonna need their grass cut, their leaves raked, and whatnot. Right. That's something kids could do as well. Yeah. Babysitting is another big one. Mm-hmm. It's huge. Yeah. Especially depends on where you live. It's really hard to find a babysitter. Yeah. And a babysitter has to be reliable babysitter. Yeah. And it kids can do this. Yeah. Like if you, let's say you live in an apartment, live in a neighborhood and whatnot, you're a good kid. Yeah. Then you can babysit people's kids and whatnot. I mean, you gotta watch what you do because there's some really creepy people out there. So you gotta mind, whose place you go by and whatnot. But
I think they do have a babysitting course.
Yeah,
I believe Nicole Aitken took that course. Okay, and started to do babysitting, and you can actually turn into a business.
Okay, is this something that's offered at school or a community center? Is this?
I'm not 100% sure. I'll find out the details and then
we can put it in the description.
Yeah, I'll give it to you so you can post it. But I heard about a babysitting course. Okay, it might be with the city. Okay, yeah, like a community center.
Yeah, I mean most of these courses are free. Mm-hmm. And if you have some spare time on your hand, you could do some of these things. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of free resources out there that are not being used. Because, we occupy our time doing other things. Mm-hmm. And we should really look into it for our kids or something like that. And if you have kids and they excel in school and whatnot, they can do tutoring. Yeah. People pay firms to tutor their kids. Right. You can do that yourself. You're good at math. Yeah. help somebody. I'm pretty sure people wouldn't mind that you give their kid extra attention to pay something. You can help around by doing some of these things to ease the burden off your parent as a child growing up.
Right.
Right. I mean, you know how good it is to make your own money as a kid and save that.
Yeah.
you know.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think during this whole social media and this iPad parenting, these are lost.
It's all lost, definitely. Yeah, we need to get back to that.
Yes, we do need to get back to this.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of money out there we're just giving away and we're just leaving out there.
Yeah,
and look at different ethnicities, Indians, Chinese, and whatnot. They all they live in one house. A bunch of them. They all pool their resources together.
Yeah,
and everybody help out in the household. Generational wealth. You bring in money, everybody bring in money, and at the end of the day, everyone can branch off.
Right.
They all live in one house when you just come to Canada.
Yeah.
5 years later and now, everyone of them in the same house has their own house.
Right.
you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Nicole just sent me a message saying it's night classes at school.
Okay.
For the parenting classes, which is pretty good.
Yes, pretty good.
Yeah. So
I wonder, how much does it cost? And you ask her if she knows how much it costs.
Yeah, if you know how much it costs, send me a message there, Nicole. Send me a WhatsApp message there. But I think definitely with my daughters, when they get older, I'm going to suggest that to them as well. But I think going back to the iPad parenting and iPod parenting or whatever, I think it's really important now to put a little structure together. Yeah. I talked to a couple of my other parents, my other friends who are parents, and they have like just certain times of after school. Yeah. Maybe it's like 1 hour you can use your iPad screen time, or maybe it's like 2 hours on the weekend. Yeah. But there's like lots of other stuff that people can do, parents can do with their kids to kind of help develop their brain. Yeah. Even like different memory games and stuff like that.
And these devices are actually pretty good for that. We didn't have them growing up in our time. Yes. We just had the basic crap. Yeah. But they have cognitive apps developed to help with brain function, brain development, because they got to solve certain puzzles to move on to the next round and whatnot. Yeah. In these apps. And they can help. You got to monitor.
You got to monitor. Yeah. Remember the Momo challenge that's been going around?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was on a kid's
iPad, yeah. And I'm glad that they caught that and they reported that, because that's pretty damn horrible.
Yeah. It's big. It's big. Yeah. Very, very big.
So
I think, still there are the good learning apps and stuff like that as well, but still monitor what your child is doing, what they're focusing on. And as well, since we're talking about technology and stuff like that, I feel like, I know this is going to sound like a conspiracy theory, but I feel like there's a lot of waves, like, from the Wi-Fi. Everywhere you go has Wi-Fi, and the different technologies are always constantly broadcasting, TVs and whatever else. It's like, I feel like these things are like frying our brains.
So let me touch on that. Another 30 minutes has passed.
I feel like there was actually I can't remember where I saw it. I saw it on this YouTube video. There was a lady who was talking to different government officials about the effects of Wi-Fi and internet and all these things that are being readily available to us. Everywhere you go, they have Wi-Fi. That means that the radio waves, the waves that are coming from the Wi-Fi are projected to our tablets or phones or whatever, but they're also being absorbed by us because they're in the air. So I can't remember. If I find it, I'm going to see if I can send it around again. But it was kind of like an eye-opener, because these Wi-Fi signals are being broadcast all over the place, and it's being absorbed by us. I remember when they they send out articles about microwaves as well. I'm going a little bit off topic.
Yeah, no, I'm actually expanding that really.
Yeah, because I remember when the microwave first came out. Yeah. Sorry, I don't remember it, but it was around. Yeah. The microwave first came out. You can cook food in a short period of time, whatever. But now they're doing all the research on it, and the microwaves, the waves that are coming out of them, are harmful for you, and so, it's taking all the nutrients out of the food.
Right. So let me get more technical on that right now. Yeah. So the human body is made of a certain percentage of water, mostly water. Yeah. Right. The microwave broadcasts at 2.4 gigahertz frequency.
Right.
If you put something that's dry in a microwave, it will never get warm because there's no water in there.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Right.
You put something that has moisture, water, it will heat.
Right.
So Wi-Fi is being broadcast at 2.4 gigahertz, the same frequency as a microwave.
Yeah.
And we live amongst Wi-Fi.
Right.
So certain people, it's called electrostatic, it's a disease. It has to do electrostatic, caused by microwave and your cell phone and whatnot.
Right.
They have gotten better with the cell phones, is that they shield it a bit better now. But if every 5 minutes or so, your cell phone searches for a new radio towers, it broadcasts that frequency. We always have a cell phone in our pockets.
Right.
Radiation from that frequency.
Right.
So we're being cooked alive.
Yeah.
By just living.
Right. And they actually they showed the thermal image of a body. Yeah. And when the person had their phone, you can see the waves. Yeah. It was showing yellow and stuff like that. And not only the phone, but the wireless headphones. Yeah. So I know people who have different problems with their ears and develop tumors and stuff like that from the Bluetooth. Yeah. Yeah. The Bluetooth is broadcasting, from your phone, or receiving, I should say, from your phone back and forth, right? And you're talking through it too, the Bluetooth headphones. Yeah. These are cooking our brains.
Yeah, cooking our brains.
It's a little bit off topic with the finance.
No, yeah.
Sorry.
No problem. We have to touch that because a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
So getting back on topic now.
Sorry, big shout out to Cheryl on the outside. She's listening. She asked, why did you get up to leave for a bit? So I was trying to explain to Cheryl. Yeah, Cheryl, he went to go and reset the
cameras. The cameras have a 30-minute time limit on them. Yeah. And we already talked for like an hour because I did it twice already.
So whenever you see Barry getting up and walking to reset the cameras, that's half an hour.
Yeah, it's half an hour. So we thank everyone for being, still with us listening, and it means we're saying something interesting. Yeah. Because doing attention span disease is not great, and people are able to stick with us for so long. Yeah. And whatnot. But getting back to stuff like this, I think that we may have to do like a part 2. Mm-hmm. Do like a touch on a portion of investments or what we can do. Yeah. Teach people ways they can invest. We're not by any chance, invest in professionals, but we know some basic stuff. Yeah. If anyone's out there that's listening has who does investing or a portfolio review or something like that, want to be a guest on the show, you could recommend someone. We can bring them on and people can hear their views of what's going on. But I think today we touched on a bunch of things. Yeah. And hopefully people take this away. Yeah. And do something with it, act upon it.
And speaking of investments, and since you were talking about kids as well, you know what I used to play as a kid?
No?
Monopoly.
Okay. That was
Monopoly
was the game.
Yeah. You would work with,
with fake
Monopoly money and stuff like that. And you bought property and you could put houses or apartments on it or whatever. Yeah. Bought land and stuff like that. Monopoly
so maybe that's a good way to start your kids out, to teach them, money and responsibility.
But who teaches their kids how to play Monopoly right now? They would go to an app on their phone and play Monopoly there.
I enjoy board games. Board games, simple as it. Monopoly was a long game, man.
Yeah, it was a long game, but you learned how to use money.
True.
You gotta buy land. You gotta put.
It teach you how to count too, because you had to actually count the money.
Count. Yeah, exactly. Now they made the new Monopoly with the computer thing.
Yeah.
So you just punch it in and it calculates it for you. But the old school Monopoly, we have the actual money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you bankrupt somebody.
True. They go to jail. So there is responsibilities and consequences.
Yes.
In Monopoly. Yeah, man. And folks, we do this show. We try to do this show every week. And we want to bring, topics and awareness, especially in the Black community and different things. Hang on one sec.
Yeah. So basically, to talk about teaching your kids and stuff like that, I think if you can teach your kids how to invest and save money, learn wealth and stuff like that, and what to do with their money and how to invest it and save and stuff like that.
Okay.
We'll prepare that generation for the future. So I think it's a proper thing to start them from early and let them learn about money, let them know what's happening with money and stuff.
So we have a caller on the line. Hello, are you there? Hi.
Good night. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Can you turn it up a little bit?
Not too bad. So I just wanted to really make two comments on something that you guys said earlier.
Okay.
The first one definitely has to do with OSAP, and I think a lot of parents don't realize how expensive education is. So that's why we're stuck with, for the folks that are the younger people that are now going to school, how much money they have to pay back in the end.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because it's not something that, once again, parents take in how expensive education is. I've had friends that have used their OSAP money on silly things that they shouldn't be using the OSAP money for. And then I have other friends where it's like, and it makes the situation even worse when you have people that don't know what program they want to be in, and then they jump from programs to programs and they're applying for OSAP and just building up that money that they know that they won't be able to pay back. In the long run, obviously it's not a good thing to do, but whatever, people do it. Another thing I want to touch on, and I'm surprised you guys didn't mention it, was GoFundMe. That's the new
that's the new insurance policy.
Right? That's the new plug that everybody's getting into, GoFundMe. So for example, and to go along with the GoFundMe, life insurance. Yeah. So this is actually something that I brought up last year in the summer when we had like all the shootings going on in the city, and there were a couple of shootings that have happened, and the names, I'm not going to mention any names obviously, but the folks that were involved in this shooting are known in Toronto. So these are people that if you see them on the regular before the incident happened, they walking around with Gucci belts, walking around with names that I can't even pronounce, right?
Okay.
Costing thousands of dollars. And now that these people have passed away, they can't pay for their funeral.
Right.
And last summer, like I said, so many of them, names that we recognize in the city, people that are in the music industry. See them in their videos, they're flashing their money, X, Y, and Z, right? And now that they're gone, GoFundMe pages are up for them. And that's something that I really couldn't wrap my head around, because once again, when you see these guys out on the road, they're well dressed, they're spending how much money in the Gucci store, they're known for that. And then they can't pay for the funeral. So that's another thing too, right?
Yeah.
Where now we've reached into a space where GoFundMe is the plug for everything.
Yeah.
And that's super unfortunate. So that money that they're spending in the Gucci store could have obviously went towards life insurance.
True. Like I said, we're living in a selfish society.
Yeah.
Very selfish.
Self-gratification and proving things. Like I made a point the other day, is that the people who have nothing to prove to anyone, they're the simplest people. The people who have something to prove, they put themselves in debt to prove irrelevant stuff to people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I see the Gucci belts them all the time.
Yeah.
Would I spend $400 on a belt buckle?
Right.
No, never.
People
You know?
people look at me and they say, "Oh, yo, Neddy's simple guy," because I don't wear anything with logos and stuff like that to broadcast and show.
Exactly. I bring my own logo. You know, I have a business and I brand myself. You know, I'm not branding Gucci. Gucci does nothing for me.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. And when you see the dyno, the only people that are benefiting is the funeral homes,
right?
And and they put their loved ones in debt,
right?
Because they were selfish to begin with,
right?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And like I said, insurance. That one Gucci belt could have paid insurance for at least a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's something that a lot of people are sweeping underneath the rug. Life insurance, just sweeping it underneath the rug.
Yeah.
And then it comes back to bite family members in the ass afterwards. And then now they have to rely on GoFundMe.
Well, that's the thing, though. So if there are any insurance agents out there that are listening, now is a good time to make a comment. Call in.
Mm-hmm.
Call in.
Yeah, make a plug. Say who you are and what benefit is there to insurance, to buy insurance. You know.
Yeah. We don't look at how expensive things are afterwards, because even with like you mentioned, the funeral homes are the ones that are benefiting.
Yeah.
It's so expensive to die.
Right.
And I don't think a lot of people are taking these things into consideration. Yeah, we have a lot of things going on in life, so it's, you miss these little things here and there. But when it all boils down at the end of it, it's very costly. And I think it's something that it's being overlooked in our community.
Yes.
For the very least.
Yes.
Life insurance, like it's worth it. It takes the headache out afterwards for your family.
Well, that's the thing, though. No one believes they're gonna die.
Right. and the thing is, because I've seen so many people run into that same issue. They've had loved ones die, and then now all of a sudden they're in debt because they're paying for the funeral. So I had to look at myself, and I said, if I die tomorrow, would I be able to pay for my own funeral? And I was like,
you can always get cremated.
Yeah, well,
but that's expensive too.
Yeah,
that's expensive too.
Yeah,
but I mean, it takes away all the coffin expenses and all that other jazz.
I always tell my family and stuff like that. I don't want a coffin and stuff. What are you gonna do? Keep going back to the grave to pray and stuff, or say, "Oh, Neddy," or whatever, blah blah. No, I don't want any tombstone. I don't want any grave. Do the ashes, but don't even get an urn. Just sprinkle them. Sprinkle them.
Okay, sprinkle Neddy along the earth. And different people have different requests for when they pass, but insurance, life insurance, it's not hard to get. You can actually phone in.
Yeah.
You don't have to do the complicated tests. There's so much people selling life insurance these days.
Yeah.
You buy a car, you insure your car.
Yeah.
You can get life insurance
at the same
from
time.
the same time.
Yeah. I'm gonna get my friend Cheryl. Hopefully, she's gonna call in.
Yeah.
And tell us about it.
Okay.
So,
all right, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you for calling. Thank you for making that contribution. Thank you. Alrighty.
So, I just gave her the number, 902-3860. Yeah. Hopefully she calls in right now, because she had a couple of points here that she brought up.
Yeah.
Especially, one about the life insurance, but also this generation of kids. Mm-hmm. They're more looking to excel in sports.
Yeah.
Right. Versus getting a higher education.
Yeah. Everyone wants to be a sports star.
Everyone wants to, be in the NBA and LeBron. Stuff like that. And there's no backup plan for them. So.
Hello, good day.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Am I on air?
Yes, you're live. You're live on air right now. How you doing?
I'm awesome. This is really interesting. I'm intrigued in listening to you guys. This is amazing.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you.
So I saw you sent a couple of things here, so I want to touch on both of them. If you could go ahead.
Well, the first, I'll just address, just like what the last caller was just talking about in regards to funeral, when someone passes, insurance policies, and so forth. I find in our community, a lot of us, it's also part of us not really being educated in that. Like we didn't grow up knowing that our parents have a life insurance or they're putting money aside. And like Neddy said, it's only when a drastic thing happens when you say to yourself, oh my goodness, I can't pay for my funeral. I don't have this and that. From my experience personally, just for example, like for my kids, they're young right now. So I got life insurance when I was fairly young, like maybe 19, 20. Everyone's like, why are you getting that now? Why are you wasting your money and so forth? The rate is much lower when we're younger. When we get older, when we're 40, 35, and we decide, okay, now we're going to think about that, you are paying premiums that are so high. If you had taken it when you're younger, that low rate continues on with you. Like you're talking $18, $20 a month versus you paying $80, $100 when you're much older. So I don't know how I thought of that back then, but I did. So now that I know that, my kids are younger, they don't have a job yet, I am going to pay for their life insurance policy now. They have what I'm doing right now, for example, just have to find an agent that can educate you, is 20-year policy. So you're paying the premium for 20 years and that's it. And you are done. So I'm going to start it now when my child. So I started it now when my child is 17. Yeah. I will cover the cost now because he can't pay for it. When he gets his job, I'm going to say, hey, take it over. Right. You're paying what, $20, $30, but in 20 years. So when my son is 36, 37, his policy's done. He doesn't have to worry about it. He doesn't have to worry about it because I'm thinking about it ahead. And at their age, they're not going to think about, I'm not paying for this. Their minds are not there yet to look so far ahead as to how much a funeral will cost, what I will need. But I'm going to do it for you. Yeah. And for $30, when you get your first job or if you whatever after you graduate, you can afford to pay the $30 a month versus later on some insurance person selling you $110 a month.
Right.
Okay. Right.
So it's just a matter of people starting to think and not always think that people are taking from you. Because I think the mentality that we're growing up is our culture is, oh no, they just want my money. Because we already know with car insurance, we're paying every month. And then we know sometimes we don't even use any of that stuff that is there. Yeah, it feels as though our money is being taken. Right. But life insurance, it is a burden afterwards from experience of paying other people's bills and stuff like that. As a person, I feel as a mother, if you have children, I don't think it's fair to leave that onto your kids.
Yeah, but I think the mentality, like how you're saying that, I think that a lot of people don't get insurance because they figure when they're dead and gone, they have nothing to worry about, so they don't care. They just are gonna spend their money and live their life now, and whatever happens to them when they die, it happens. It's kind of a selfish mentality, but I think that is common in our community.
Yeah, I just feel once you are a parent, you become a parent, you have to think of them afterwards. And granted, they might go before you, whatever the case may be. But as a mother, I felt that's one less thing I want them to be worrying about.
Right.
So I just think it's just in our world right now, it's not a conversation piece. It's not something that we're exposed to. So it's something that we don't know about because, again, I don't know why I took it as a very young age. Most young people in their 20s are not thinking like that. Mm-hmm. But I am paying $17 for my life insurance. Wow. If I go now at my age, like over 40, no way. You're paying a lot of money. The premiums are higher the more you get older because there's risk factors, right? Yeah. Your health and so forth. It just makes sense to do it later on.
You're over 40?
Earlier. Yes, I am. And I'm proud of it. I am absolutely proud of it.
So would you be able to, is there the insurance number or contact or website, or is there anywhere where we can point people to so that they can check it out as well?
I could forward it to you once I find his number. This is a new agent that I'm dealing with. Okay. But I mean, there's a lot of things. You just have to try to figure out which policies are good for you. And honestly, there are a lot of people who are just going to sell you. I will be frank. You have to find someone that you actually trust and knows what they're doing, because there are people who are going to sell you things that are not going to work out for you later on. That can either lapse or so forth. So you really have to know a little bit going into meeting somebody, because they can just want to sell you anything.
So Cheryl, so it sounds like you're trusting this person and you're confident that what you're paying for right now is good.
Yes.
So when you speak to that agent, maybe you can convince him to either send us his info, or maybe come on the show for like a 15 minutes or call in and educate the people on what insurance should
Absolutely.
be. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll forward that to him. It's up to him, it's his discretion if he wants to do that or not. But yeah, for sure, I would love to do that.
Yeah, because it's a knowledge platform that we're trying to get out there to people and having discussions like this. Mm-hmm. And I'm really happy that you called in and give us a bit more insight on a topic like that.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Did you want me to touch on the other one, Neddy?
Yeah. Touch base on the other one as well, because I think that one is important as well, especially a lot of the younger kids who have high hopes of, making it into the NBA or whatever else and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just find that being a parent that isn't kind of in that world right now is that's the straight focus that these kids have, and I find that parents aren't. I want to encourage that. Like, by all means, you want to encourage your child to do what their interest is, support them, give them the tools for them to move forward in that. But at the same time, I feel like we're not pushing so much on the education piece, because you can end up getting a scholarship for a sports of your choice, and what happens when you get an injury? What happens when no one wants to scout you anymore, or they don't want you? You haven't told that child what's the next step is going to be, and then they're stuck because you decided that you're going this route, but you didn't do the education piece on the side. Where are you going to be then, now when you're 22, 23, and you're no longer doing what your passion was? It's going to be kind of difficult for them to go back to school. I find with males, sorry to just pinpoint it on them, but I find it's hard for them I find it even harder for them to just start in the post-secondary education world. Like, I don't know if they're not getting that push. It just seems like right now everything is just sports related, and it's not thinking of the main future. Like, when you're 35, 40, you're not playing ball anymore. You're not playing soccer, whatever the case may be, because you're not going to play it forever. Right. Then you don't have that education piece of the background. And I don't find parents are pushing both, because I'm tugging with my own kid with that. It's like I'm the education part, and then they're like, no, I'm going to be doing the sports. And it's like, you got to have a balance.
Yeah.
And just to add to what you're saying right now, a lot of these programs, these grants, there are a lot of community centers that have like grants, and they have like sports program and whatnot, and they seem to be focused more on the sport. And what she just said is very valid. What if you get injured? What if something happens? What if you don't make it to the NBA?
Right.
I think that if you're going there, a community center, to invest your time in sports, there are other programs that you can do at the same center. Maybe a skill, maybe something. Photography, you teach photography at these things as well. There's other things that you have to do to prepare yourself in case of. Just like insurance is in case of.
Yeah.
Life insurance is inevitable when that happens.
Right.
But you gotta put these things in place.
But they're not telling them these things. It's just one direction they're giving them. Like, okay, let's do this training, and da-da. They're not saying, okay, you also need to do that. Yeah. And then you also have the coaches, let's be frank and honest, schools and coaches both put together. They're still accepting these kids on their teams when their grades are not up par. If they're not making sure that, they passed their exams, they passed this. It's because this person is the top player this year. We've got to keep him on our team. Yeah, right. And they might say in the outside, yes, to parents, whoever, that they're doing this, but it's not enforced. It's not enforced where, you know what, you got to be at this grade level to maintain a part of our team. That is where that's where the trouble all starts, because no one else, if your parents aren't doing it for you, and then you have your own coach not doing it for you, then you're not going to care about that part. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So it's a whole group of people that need to be involved in it. I don't know, just because I'm in that world right now, I'm seeing it, and I'm like, to me, it saddens me, because these kids are only looking at one goal, and they have no idea what's going to happen when it all crumbles.
Everybody wants to be LeBron.
Yeah. And they should. LeBron always tells his story. You should, take the behind the scenes portion as well. Everything out there is glitter, is not gold. LeBron didn't come from a rich. He was an athlete, and he made us an athlete.
Yeah.
But then he has his education. you know, so they need to look at things with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
You always need something to fall back on. And education is one of the keys. To doing this, and not taking any education, because there are a lot of stuff out there that don't make sense.
Yeah.
That schools are offering, and you can't get nothing when you come out of school. That's very frustrating. You spend all this money and you can't get a job based on what you did.
Yeah.
So you as a parent as well, you should step in and listen. Well, this doesn't make sense to you in a real world. Like, what are you gonna do with this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. That's a good point. A good point.
So monitor that as well.
Yeah.
Not that education is good, but do something that's sensible. something
that's relevant.
Relevant to society these days. You know, don't take up don't do architectural digging or something like that. Yeah. So
thanks for your call.
Yes, and I will get back to you with that agent hopefully, and hopefully you guys can have a talk with him.
No problem. And if you find that detail, you can leave it in the comments under the video, and that way everyone who looks like it can see.
She's not on social media, eh?
No, but the link for the
YouTube. You're not getting me on social
media. No.
No, with the YouTube link that you're watching right now.
The YouTube link that you're watching right now. Yeah.
Just that's fine.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, thank you for calling. That was pretty good.
All right. Thank you.
All right,
bye.
I think those are some very
some
important,
good takeaways.
Yeah, good takeaways from that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that people are listening and able to respond in such a way that they do see a need as well for these things in society. Going down this road, like I said, the children are our future. You teach them well, let them lead the way. That song was a song, but it actually makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And these things we can put little things in place to make sure that we don't end up in debt in the future. Our kids don't end up in debt.
Yeah.
Because, two things in life this year: sure, taxes and debt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And debt as in like you're being dead and, not end up in debt because of decisions we make in life.
Yeah.
And, I'm happy that we had this talk. It was very enlightening. We got some good comments. We got a lot of interactions and whatnot. And just want to let the folks know that we do topics like these every Sunday.
Okay.
They can leave us a comment with future topics that they want to hear about. Future awareness. And we should be getting links. I'm going to post a slide in the show for people who cannot see it properly.
Yeah.
And if you want to make a suggestion or something, just leave us in the comments. Yeah, you can always send us a message afterwards.
Yeah.
I'll make sure and put it in.
Yeah.
Folks, we're going to wrap this one up for today. I want to thank Neddy for showing up and, bringing his awesomeness to us. And showing off his guns right now. This show is called Unscripted Table Talk. We're at episode number 6 right now. This live episode will be on the channel until the edited one is finished. You can still make comments and whatnot. So if this is what you want to hear, this is something that you're interested in, like, share, comment, subscribe, and we will be doing more of these in the future.
Okay.
So until the next one, Neddy, thank you for coming through.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. And thank you very much, folks. Peace.
Namaste.
Namaste. Oh, man.